So you need mainly, يا شباب, you need to remember this table. The first one is indeed from 11.9, but it's still, of course, the Maclaurin. This is the Maclaurin series for this function. And these for the exponential, sine x, cosine x, tan inverse x, ln 1 plus x, and so on, and the binomial series at the end. I think with you, we didn't solve this. Okay, so when you have a question like this, Shabab, he's asking about the sum. What is the sum of this power series? When you have something like this, طبعا, you know that the sum, if you have a geometric series or telescopic series, you can find the sum. But also, if you have power series, that is one of the table in the table that we have there, or the integrals, or the derivatives, or the product. So it is, in fact, you can do it in several ways. So what you should do if you have something like this, what we should do, ya shabab, is try to simplify this so that it is similar to one of these formulas that we have here. So we have like here seven power series that is represented by function, or function that represented by power series. So if you look here, we have here pi over 2 as a coefficient outside. N starts from 0. This is good, by the way. This is mostly the case. Here we have pi to the power 2n over. I'd like to make this also to the power 2n, because here this is pi to the power 2n. I will make this 2 to the power 2, which is 4, all to the power n. So it is 2 to the power 2n. 2n plus 1 factorial. I have noticed that we have here 2n plus 1 factorial. So I have something like here, like this here. Look, we have here 2n plus 1 factorial. Maybe it is related to sine or cosine or maybe tan. It is not clear. I think it is most probably sine. The problem that we don't have the power here. So look, this equals to pi over 2, n equal to 0, from -1 to -1 to the power n. This will be a shabab pi over 2 all to the power 2n. Just this is pi over 2 all to the power 2n. Over 2n plus 1 factorial. I think I did this in the recorded video of yesterday. I remember it now, but not for you, for the next section. Now, if you notice, this pi over 2 can be multiplied inside. Multiply pi over 2 by this pi over 2. So you will have pi over 2 all to the power 2n plus 1. Over 2n plus 1 factorial. Now I think it is clearly what? Sine x with x equals to what? Just instead of this x, we have pi over 2. So this is sine, what is x? It is pi over 2. And sine pi over 2 is what? Is 1. Is it clear, Shabab? So there are many questions like this in the old exam questions. Some of them are direct. Some of them you need to do some algebraic manipulations to have it in one of the forms that you have in the table. Let's take now another exercise. What do you think? I think it is good for you to practice. So think about this, Shabab. How to solve it? I will give you like 3 to 4 minutes to think about it. Read it carefully. If this is the Taylor series, if this is the Taylor series of this function about x equals 3, it is clear that it is about x equals 3, because you have here x minus 3 all to the power n. The question is what are these coefficients? Because we are talking about Taylor series for this function. Then what is the question? The question is what is the summation of the coefficients from 0 to 100? So the question is what is a0 plus a1 plus a2 up to 100? This is the question. Do you remember, Shabab, the Taylor series? If you have a function and you represent the function by a power series about 3, let's say, about a in general, then start from 0 to n. What is Cn, Shabab? Do you remember what is Cn? We have found what is Cn? What is it, Shabab? What is the Taylor series?
f of a.
This is f, the nth derivative at a over n factorial. Is that right?
Yes.
So this means that what we have here. هذا معناه يا شباب إن إحنا نبغى إيش؟ here هذا معناه إن إحنا محتاجين ال nth derivative at what? At 3 over n factorial. هذا اللي نبغاه من لا مو لين infinity up to 100. هذا اللي نبغاه. هذه هي ال an. لأن هذه هي Taylor series. Let me write Taylor series again here. Taylor series, it is this over n factorial x minus 3 من n start from 0 to infinity. إذا هذول هم الكوفيشنتس اللي احنا نبحث عنهم. هاي it is this one an. إذا احنا نبغى الحين يا شباب إيش؟ نبغى الزيرو ديريفاتيف، يعني نبغى الفانكشن at 3 في الزيرو فاكتوريال plus الفيرست ديريفاتيف at 3 1 factorial plus the second derivative at 3 2 factorial and so on until the 100 derivative at 3 over 100 factorial. هذا اللي نبغاه. It means that we need to do what?
Find the derivative.
Yes. And so what is f of x? F of x, it is x to the power 3 minus 10 x squared plus 6. نحتاج نجيب ال value of the function at 3. What is the value of the function at 3? كم راح تكون يا شباب؟ لما نعوض عن ال x ب 3 we will have 27 minus 9 times 10 it is 90 plus 6. What is this? This is
minus 57.
Minus 57, yes. Because this will be 33. Good. The second derivative, the first derivative, not the second, the first derivative, it is 3x squared minus 20x plus 0. إيش ال first derivative? The value of the first derivative at 3. إيش هي؟ راح تكون 9 minus 3 or times 3 27 minus 3 times 60, which is what? Negative 33, right? The second derivative is 6x minus 20. The second derivative at 3 is 18 minus 20, which is negative 2. The third derivative, which is what? 6. It is expected, ya shabab. You know, do you know that? This is the third derivative at 3 equals to 6. Now the fourth, ايش راح تكون الفورث derivative?
0.
0. والفifth 0. إذا نقدر نقول الحين إنه ال nth derivative is 0 وال nth derivative at 3 هي كمان 0 لكل for all n greater than or equals 4. ابتداء من الفورث derivative it will be 0. وهي يا شباب ما هي جديدة طبعا. بشكل عام لما تكون عندك y تساوي x to the power n ال nth derivative ايش راح تكون؟ راح تكون ال n factorial. شوفوا 6. وش ال 6؟ هي 3 factorial. الديريفاتيف اللي بعد ال nth derivative راح تكون 0. فلما لو هذه مثلا x to the power 10 ال 11th derivative راح تكون 0. ال 10th derivative راح تكون 10 factorial وهكذا بشكل عام. You have seen this before in MATH101. إذا الحين يا شباب اللي what we are going to do just we will substitute there. So now this will be equals to إيش راح نسوي؟ What is f at 3? F at 3 is negative 57 over 0 factorial. 0 factorial is 1 plus the derivative at 3 اللي هي negative 33 over 1 factorial which is 1 plus the second derivative at 3 which is negative 2 over 2 minus or plus 6 اللي هي الثيرد derivative over the 3 factorial which is 6 والبقيه كلهم راح يكونوا يا شباب اصفار 0 0 0 plus 0 up to 100. Now this is clearly negative 90 minus 1 plus 1 which is negative 9. So the answer is C. Any question يا شباب؟
ايه دكتور ليش قسمنا 2 minus 2 over 2 and 6 over 6؟
الفاكتوريال السكند ديريفاتيف على 2 فاكتوريال وبعدين الثيرد ديريفاتيف على 3 فاكتوريال and so on. احنا قاعدين الحين نجيب هاي احنا نعوض هنا الحين.
هكذا.
Okay. Now let's go to the next question. هذا السؤال يا شباب أنا نقلته من 11.10 إلى 11.9. By the way, it can be solved by 2 methods. هذا السؤال I think I will re-upload it again in 11.10 and 11.9. We will solve it by 2 methods because it is good for you to practice. هذا السؤال يا شباب هو أساسا من 11.9 بس كمان ينحل بالأفكار حقت الماكلورين سيريز حقت 11.10. مين يقول لي يا شباب كيف ينحل هذا السؤال؟ How to solve this? Now let's keep thinking about 11.9 and in the next slide we will solve it by 11.10. What we can do here? For x between 0 and 2, what is this? What is this interval يا شباب 0 and 2? This is
number of derivatives.
This is the interval of convergence. Between 0 and 2, the interval 0 and 2, it is the interval of convergence. أنا سامع حد قال شيء عن الديريفاتيف؟
إيه أنا دكتور.
Okay. What you can do here, you can ask yourself, what is negative 1 over x squared? It is the derivative of what? 1 over x, is that right?
The power n.
No.
Oh, yes, right.
X squared is when you differentiate 1 over x, you will get.
We get to 1 over negative 1 over x squared. Yes.
طيب الحين السؤال يصبح الحين the question becomes what is 1 over x as a power series?
First derivative.
1 over x يا شباب هي عبارة عن 1 minus 1 plus x. إيش سويت أنا؟ I just add 1 and subtract 1. What is my target from this? Let me show you. Now this is 1, fix it here. Now take this negative as a common factor, open brackets. This will be negative over negative, it will be positive, positive over negative, negative. Here we are. And do you remember what we had in 11.9? What is 1 minus u? It is sigma u to the power n when n is starting from 0 to infinity, provided that the absolute value of u is less than 1. So in our case, what is u? It is 1 minus x. So we can write this as, we can say that this is equal sigma n start from 0 to infinity. For 1 minus x, this is u, ya shabab. This is our u. 1 minus x to the power n, provided that the absolute value of 1 minus x is less than 1. Is it really less than 1? Is this valid? We need to check the condition that we have, because he told me that x is there. So now, if you solve this inequality, what you will have? You will have 1 minus x less than 1 greater than negative 1, which means that negative x is less than 0 greater than negative 2. Multiply by negative 1, you will have less than 2 greater than 0. Really? Yes. X is between 0 and 2. Now it is done, ya shabab. Almost done. What is remaining? This is 1 over x. We need negative 1 over x squared. Okay? So what is that? It will be differentiate both sides. If you differentiate both sides, you will get this start from 1 when you differentiate. Here you will have n times 1 minus x all to the power n minus 1. And what is the derivative of the inner function by the chain rule? It is -1. So here we have a negative. Is it clear so far, ya shabab? What we did until now, I wish it is clear. Now, compare this with this. Now, this is -1 over x squared. This is -1 over x squared. This one is not the same as this one. This one, it starts from 0. Here it is 1 minus x to the power n, but here it is to the power n minus 1. So what we can do here, we can do re-indexing, what is called re-indexing. So I want this, ya shabab, to be n, not n minus 1. So what I will do, I will put m equals to n minus 1. If n is 1, m will be 0. If m is n minus 1, n will be from here, n will be m plus 1. So let's come here now. We have -1 over x squared equals to sigma, and instead of n is starting from 1, we will write m starting from 0 to infinity. Negative n, what is n? It is m plus 1 times 1 minus x to the power, what is n minus 1? N minus 1 is m. Now, as I said, ya shabab, it is an index. You can write it back as m or n. You can consider this as m, and this is m, this is m. Or here, you can just write it, and instead of m, you can write n. And this is, instead of this m, you can write it n. And this one n. It's okay, it is just an index. It will not appear, taban. When you expand, it will disappear. Now, just compare between what you have now, and what you have over there. So with just visual comparison, what you have? You have 1 minus x, 1 minus x to the power cn. This implies that cn is what? Negative n plus 1. Okay? So what we want, what was the question? The question is, what is C19 plus C20? So this implies that C19 is negative n plus 1. So n is 19, so this will be 20. N plus 1 is 20. And C20 will be negative 21. What is their sum? Negative 41. And this is the answer. Any question, Shabab? Is it clear? So this is 11.9. How can we solve it with the ideas of 11.10? In 11.10, Shabab, if you have a function, and you want to write it as with using Taylor series. So let's say that this is our function, and the point that we'll expand about it is 1. What will be Taylor series, ya shabab? Taylor series will be n starting from 0 to infinity, Cn, which is, by the way, the nth derivative at a. In our case, it is 1 over n factorial x minus 1 all to the power n. هذه هي Taylor series. This is Taylor series about of f f about a or at a equals 1, at 1. Now compare this, compare what you have here, compare this one with this one. We want to have the same at the end, okay? So what we will do, I think we need to do a small modification here. Or here, it is up to you. You can do it here or here. مثلا هنا تقدر تقول هاي هي عبارة عن n starting from 0 to infinity for Cn x minus 1 to the power n. خذ negative common factor تصير negative 1 to the power n. تقدر تقول عنها كذا أو تقدر تسوي هنا يعني. اللي هو تقدر تقول هذه هي عبارة n starting from 0 to infinity for negative 1 to the power n, the nth derivative at 1 over n factorial 1 minus x. You can say that, no problem. So let's keep it here. Okay, now what we will do, we will do the formal way. أنا عندي ال f of x هي إيش؟ negative x to the power negative 2. What is the value of the function at 1? It is negative 1. إيش ال first derivative? The first derivative is negative times negative, it will be positive 2 x to the power negative 3. The first derivative at 1 will be negative, no, positive 2. The second derivative يا شباب إيش راح تكون؟ 2 times 3 negative also times x to the power negative 4. With second derivative at 1 will be negative 2 times 3. The third derivative, are you sure now about the pattern or you need to continue? The third derivative, let me write it like this. The third derivative will be what? Positive 2 times 3 times 4 x to the power negative 5. وهنا the third derivative at 1 will be negative 2 positive تصير لما نعوض عن ال x ب 1 2 times 3 times 4. Yeah, شباب, I think it is clear what is the pattern. Who can tell me what is the nth derivative here? I don't
n
worry
plus
about
1
it.
factorial.
Here, what is the nth derivative here? لاحظوا هنا يا شباب هذا وش هو؟ هذا 4 factorial ولا لا؟ هذا negative 3 factorial.
n plus 1
positive
factorial.
هذا negative 1 factorial. إذا هذا اللي في الأخير هنا إيش؟ negative 1 to the power what? n plus 1 factorial ولا لا؟ لما الديريفاتيف third derivative it is 4 لما هي السكند هي 3. negative 1 to the power what? Is it n? Can we write it n? و n start from 0 يعني لما ال n ب0 يجينا negative ما يجينا positive. It is not n, it is n plus 1 or minus 1. Let's choose plus 1 to be the same as that one. إذا الحين يا شباب نرجع لهنا نحط مكان ال nth derivative its value. When compare it with this. إذا الحين when to write it الآن from here we conclude, let me use another color, we conclude that negative 1 to the power ncn اللي هي هاي equals to this اللي هي هاي over طبعا n. So it will be equals to, what is the nth derivative at 1? It is negative 1 to the power n plus 1 factorial over n factorial. Simplify يا شباب. قسم الطرفين على negative 1 to the power n. ايش راح يجيك؟ cn تساوي negative يظل معاك negative 1 to the power 1 وهذا n plus 1 مضروب في n factorial على n factorial اللي هو negative n plus 1. نفس النتيجة اللي حصلنا عليها في ال previous slide. إذا ال cn هي negative n plus 1 اللي طبعا راح تعطينا نفس النتيجة اللي هي راح تكون negative 20 negative 21 اللي هي negative 41. Any question يا شباب؟ What do you think? Is this one better or the previous method?
Previous one.
I prefer this. So this is why I put this question in section 11.9. Okay, let's take another one يا شباب. يلا, tell me how to solve this. شكلكم اليوم يا شباب نايمين خلاص. It is the last day. انتم محتاجين تصحصحوا يعني. It is just a matter of 5-6 days and you need to prepare very well for the final exam. يعني جاك السؤال هذا في الفاينل ايش راح تسوي؟ What you will think about? You should
Comparing.
have a plan. Yes?
Comparing with x and cosine x.
إذا راح تبدأ بحاجة تعرفها. You know what is cosine x. راح تبدأ بcosine x. What is cosine x? طبعا أنت محتاج هنا 17th derivative. طبعا you know يا شباب that cosine x is negative 1 to the power n x to the power 2n over 2n factorial. But I think here, because we want the derivative number 17, it is better to expand it. So you remember that is cosine x is what? It is 1 minus x squared over 2 factorial. It is even x to the power 4 over 4 factorial plus x to the power 6 minus. It is alternating also. X to the power 6 over 6 factorial plus x to the power 8 over 8 factorial minus x to the power 10 over 10 factorial. I think this is enough. Okay, now this is when it is x. When you have x squared, what you need to do, you need to replace each x by x squared. So it will be 1 minus x squared to the power 2, it will be 4. Plus x to the power 2 all to the power 4, it will be 8. Plus x to the minus x to the power 2 all to the power 6, it will be 12. Plus x to the power 2 all to the power 8, it will be 16 over 8 factorial. Minus x to the power 2, it will be 20 over 10 factorial, and so on. Now we will multiply it by what? By x. Multiply x by cosine x squared. So what you will have? You will have x, 1 multiplied by x. This will be x to the power 5 over 2 factorial plus x to the power 9 over 4 factorial minus x to the power 13 over 6 factorial plus x to the power 17 over 8 factorial minus x to the power 21 over 10 factorial plus and so on. Now what we want, ya shabab, this is our function. This is f of x. Now what we want the derivative number what? The derivative number 17 at x وبعدين نحسبها at 0. So what is the 17th derivative of this function, شباب?
1 over 8 factorial.
17 times, what you will get?
1 over 8 factorial.
This one, 0. X, when we differentiate x, we will get 0.
0, yes.
This will be 0 also, شباب. All of these, any order, any degree less than 17 will be 0 when you differentiate it 17 times. So this will be 0, 0, 0. This will be also 0. This will be what? This will be 17 factorial. I just told you before, Shabab, when you have f of x equals to x to the power n, its nth derivative will be n factorial, equals to n factorial, and the derivative after the nth derivative will be 0. Okay, so this will be 17 over 8t factorial. And what will be the derivative here? This is 21, by the way. This will be something that is not 0. So you will have something here like 21 times 20 times until I think 4 factorial, 21 minus 17. I'm not sure, but I think it is something like this. And x to the power what? When you differentiate it 17 times, you will have x to the power 4, if I'm not wrong, and so on. You have some x there. Now, when you substitute instead of x by 0, what you will have? Of course, I should have all of this is 0. Forget about it. You will have 17 factorial over 8 factorial minus 0. This will be 0 because you will put instead of x 0. So it will be all 0, what is the remaining over there. So this means that it is 17 factorial over 8 factorial. Clear?
Yes,
Okay.
clear.
Let's go to the next. We still have time to have another exercise. How to solve this by using the binomial series. I think we did solve something like this, many questions like this. Just here we want the coefficient of x to the power 4. What is the coefficient of x to the power 4? So again, Shabab, we will have 4 plus x squared. We will write it as 4 plus x squared to the power half. Take 4 as a common factor. You will have 1 plus x squared over 4, all to the power half. This will be to the power half. So it will be 2 times 1 plus x squared over 4, all to the power half. You need to just recall that what is 1 over x all to the power k. And replace x here by x squared over 4. So you know, Shabab, that this is what? This is 1 plus kx plus k minus 1 over 2 factorial x squared plus k times k minus 2 minus 1 minus 1 minus 2 k minus 2 over 3 factorial x to the power 3 and so on. Okay, so what we want here, we want the coefficient of x to the power 4. So this is equals to what, ya shabab? It will be 2, this 2, open brackets, apply this. It will be 1 plus k. What is k in our case? It is a half. So just put k equals a half and replace x by what? Replace x by x squared over 4. So this will be k times x squared over 4 plus k, which is a half, multiplied by a half minus 1 over 2 factorial, which is 2. X, replace x by what? By x squared over 4, all to the power 2. Khalas, this is what we want, ya shabab. Don't waste your time calculating the remaining terms, because we want just the power, the coefficient of x to the power 4. So this is equal to 2. Don't waste your time even here. Focus on this term. What you will have here, it will be a half times negative half, so it will be minus 1 over 8 x to the power 4 over 4 to the power 2. Am I right, ya shabab? And so on. Now, what is the coefficient? The coefficient of x to the power 4. It will be this 2 multiplied by negative 1 over 2 to the power 3 times 1 over 4 to the power 2. What is this, ya shabab? This is negative. This 2 will go with this 2, so you will have negative 2 to the power 2 multiplied by 4 to the power 2, which is what? 2 to the power 4. This is negative 1 over 2 to the power 6. And the answer is A. Is it clear, ya shabab? There are many, ya shabab, there are more than 54, maybe 55 questions in this section. So please practice by solving these exercises to make sure that you master the subject of this section. Thank you يا شباب. This is all نقدر نقول الحين تم بحمد الله. نستودعكم الله يا شباب ونراكم إن شاء الله.